What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more acid-techno, and as promised, we're going to stay with Organgrinder. We're going to go to one of the most famous tunes of all time, at least in my brain, and I think the brains of several other old-school warriors I know. There's a couple friends of mine in the London scene who are insistent that this is one of the greatest and most epic records ever. But I got a sort of surprise, so let me just explain what I'm talking about. We're listening to Shaft Punk, Squatt Rock. It's an unbelievable track. Lawrie Immersion at the top of his game. Just an absolute killer. But there's a thing that we're going to have to deal with, and that is, oh my god, what the fuck? So years ago, I went to get this record out of my stacks, and this had happened. Don't know how, don't know why. None of the other records in the same part of the stack were broken or seemed to have any stress or any indication, not stress as in psychological, physiological stress, but as in stress marks that, where they had almost cracked. So I honestly have no idea what happened. It's one of the most lamentable tragedies in the history of my vinyl collection. Even so, I need to preserve this. I need people to know that this is a record that I worshipped and cherished with my life. And apparently, I'm not worth much in terms of protection because somehow I worshipped and cherished it, but somehow it broke. But honestly, it was like a mystery. I have no idea, if it fell and other records kind of landed on it or something. I don't know how. But when I went to get it out, it was just standing with all the others, and then I pulled it out and it was broken, and my life, in that moment, my life had ended. But don't worry, because what do we have fucking here? We have Stay Up Forever 19, and as you'll see, this is the Tonal Shift remix, and yes, it is acid fucking techno, as I would write on many of my releases. Not realizing that this was a phrase that many other people would use, and I've eventually, in the 100 series of Stay Up Forever, they did the Crash and Burn record, where they sampled Snatch, and then they had acid fucking techno. Regardless of all that silliness, this is Stay Up Forever Remix 19. We're going to listen to the original, might come back for the remix. I know a lot of people are super, super fond of the remix. I love the remix too. But admittedly, my initial reason for needing to get this record was to replace and to ameliorate the tragedy of the breaking of the original Organgrinder record. So here we go. This is Lawrie, Squatt, this is Shaft Punk, Lawrie Immersion, Squatt Rock, originally on Organgrinder, here on Stay Up Forever Remix 19. Techno insect buzzing at your head, but not really annoying. It's alright, I can tolerate that. Very precise hat. And it's just, we're already rocking. Acid engine already turned on. And it already has this sort of wild feel. It's not going to follow a simple equation. It's not going to be cookie cutter in its stylings or its structure. It's just alright, I'm going to hold on and hopefully I'll survive this. It's already rocking, but we've got miles to go before we sleep. My apologies to Robert Frost. Keying up, dude. Acid just buzzing insect or that initial layer just still shouting out. Like the high percussion, like adding an element there, adding a layer. I mean, it's just the lovely eccentricity and creativity of these old acid techno classics, man. But, like, we use the word classic for a reason, right? There's like a second layer of that, and it's like a more dissonant, sort of like stretched version of it. Those snare rolls are so awesome. I can't believe it. Get some of that cymbal. Listen to the just electricity of the acid though, like in a way, because of that just loud synth that's been there since the beginning, it's almost like the acid isn't a support role, but it's electric. And it's like, support role? What the fuck are you talking about? It like turned into Ben Kingsley from Sexy Beast. You gotta fucking do it, Gale. Hear that little... It's again, triple digits, I've heard this, and yet I still get so keyed up at certain parts, I can't help it. If I seem like a weirdo, I apologize, but this music is my life, I don't know what to say. There's like a high lashing out of the like riff now. The snare rolls, underappreciated aspect. Just demented, like maniacal acid techno, escaped from the institution acid techno. Acid ride out coming. There's a fucking tasty acid ride out in this tune, let me tell you. We gotta wait. The cymbal, the double layered like insect synth, and that like sharp, like lashing acid, beating your brain into submission. And like Brad Pitt in that one scene of Fight Club, you're just like welcoming it, like, alright Lou, whatever. Wait. It's like, oh, we're completely out, right? We're winding down this the last little bit. You might think that. You wouldn't be terribly out of place, but you would be wrong. first time the insect synth goes away and it's like, hey, let's fucking ride this acid out. It's just like, and again, the old school creativity, the length of the tune, it's just evolving and like shifting, dynamic, eccentric, idiosyncratic. And now we're like all the way back. It's fucking unbelievable. I try not to get like the old guy, young whippersnappers. I try not to be like, oh, they don't make them like that anymore. But do they make them like this anymore? Maybe they do. But fuck, dude. This is just... That's what it is. No words are necessary. They can only do it on. Shout out to Depeche Mode. Oh my god! Smashing you right to the end. Another tune you can finish a mix with. Walk away from the tables and watch them smoke for like an hour afterward. Whoa! Did you hear that? I mean, it's the last like 30 seconds of the tune, but I do believe that was like a proper skip. Let me just commit fucking vinyl seppuku on camera. Yeah, that last tragic skip aside, which admittedly, you know, it's so close to the end that now that I'm aware it's there, you know, I can definitely make sure it doesn't cause problems. But it's a shame because number one, it's a track that you could definitely finish a mix with. You could finish a party with. You could finish like the world with. That could be the last tune that is ever played by humanity, and I think we'd be like, hey, we did a good job. Okay. But no, you know, now that I know it's there, I can mix out just a little bit before that to make sure it doesn't cause dancers to go, hey, what, you mess with my vibe, bro. But yeah, let me know if that tune is as astounding, memorable, classic, and like untouchable as it is to me. It's an absolute genius tune. As I said, I wish I still had it on the original Organgrinder, and it's actually, you know, the sort of 1B shame to the 1A of having the original Squatt rock broken is that Get Ya Organ Out on the other side is a monster. There's this screaming, like shouting into the sky acid layer in the back half that's just unbelievable. So yeah, unfortunately I don't have that record to talk about right now. Perhaps I'll get another copy. There was a while where I was looking to replace it, and it was just like every copy that came online was like VG, not even VG plus, like VG and like 40 pounds and, you know, like 18 to 20 pounds shipping. It's like, fuck, dude. You know, again, you just have to prioritize, especially when you're trying to buy old vinyl and keep up with new vinyl coming out. And now, in the last 7 years or so, I'm following hardcore as much as I'm following acid-techno. So, like, I have to have, like, you know, money going to both places. So again, I got to prioritize. But at some point, I am going to try to get another copy of the original Organgrinder because again, we deserve to listen to and talk about Get Your Organ Out. It's unbelievable. But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed that. Let me know if you're a fan of this one as much or more so than the tonal shift mix. As I said, I'm a big fan of that one too. But you know, the original is just like, there are no words to describe a tune that is that wild and free. It's just that, I mean, that to me is the essence of sort of 90s acid techno that I fell in love with. So shout out to Lawrie, shout out to Organgrinder for the original, shout out to Chris and Aaron on Stay Up Forever Remix for releasing this one, both with the excellent original and with the wonderful Dave the Drummer remix. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day, have a good night, I'll see you next time. Peace.